Ladies and gentlemen, let the madness begin. This is Big Al on this Selection Sunday, March the 13th, 2022. And I will be revealing the 2022 field for the NCAA tournament as they announce them live. So, yes, all 68 teams, 32 at large, and 36 random vids from the other conferences will be revealed here in just a moment. And right now, if you're a team like, say, Michigan or Rutgers or even Texas A&M, you're probably standing on pins and needles right now, given the fact that Richmond won the A10 conference championship game earlier this afternoon against Davidson. So now their fates are in the committee's hands. So right now I'm watching the tournament selection show, which is about to begin on CBS here in just a moment. And as they reveal who teams will play, when they'll play, where they'll play, I will tell you all of that as we go along here over the next hour or so. I just finished watching Iowa take down Purdue in the Big Ten championship game. Earlier today, Tennessee won the SEC tournament championship, beating Texas A&M. We'll see if the Aggies get in or are they left out. But again, the Richmond victory in the A10 tournament final is big because Disney's still a spot for bubble teams, like I said, like a Rutgers, like a Michigan, like an A&M. I think somebody is gonna be left out of this field. I think. All right, we're still waiting on the selection show to begin. They're still running commercials right now, but that's about to change here. All right. CBS has just gone to air with the tournament selection show. They're doing the intro right now. And they're about to announce the field of 68. You'll have the first four playing Tuesday and Wednesday night at 6:30 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and those four games will be aired on True TV. The opening round kicks off Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The first round is Thursday and Friday, March 17th and 18th, starting at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. And then you got the second round, which is next Saturday and Sunday, March 19th and 20th. And we are about to jump into the Western bracket first off. The top seed is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. All right. So the number one seed in the West region is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And they will be facing Georgia State in the 1-16 matchup. Gonzaga 26-3, Georgia State 18-10. In the 8-9 matchup, you got the Boise State Broncos at 27-7, taking on the number 9 seed. They'll reveal it here in just a second. The Memphis Tigers 21-10. Those two games will be played Thursday in Portland, Oregon. The next two games will be played in Buffalo, New York. In the 5-12 matchup, the number 5 seed is the Connecticut Huskies at 23-9. And the 12 seed will be UConn's opponent, and that's the New Mexico State Aggies at 26-6. And then the 4 versus 13 matchup, you got the Arkansas Razorbacks claiming the number 4 seed in the West region with a 25-8 record. They'll be facing the 13 seed, the University of Vermont, with a 28-5 mark. And those two games will be played Thursday in Buffalo. To the bottom half of the bracket, the 6th seed in the West is the Alabama Crimson Tide at 19-13. They'll be facing the winner of the play-in game between Rutgers and Notre Dame, and whoever wins that game will get the number 11 seed. And my television just cut. Great. Come on. So Rutgers was able to avoid the bubble, and they get into one of those first 4 games. And I'm assuming they'll be playing on Wednesday night against Notre Dame. The 3 seed in the West region is the Texas Tech Red Raiders, 25-9, versus the 14 seed Montana State at 27-7. The 6-11 and 3-14 games will be played Friday in San Diego. The 7 seed in the West region, the Michigan State Spartans at 22-12. They will be facing the number 10 seed in the West, and that would be Davidson at 27-6. Of course, Davidson losing to Richmond in the A10 tournament final. That game is being played in Greenville, South Carolina on Friday, as is the number 2 seeded Duke Blue Devils with a record of 28-6. This is Coach K's final NCAA tournament. He'll be retiring after this, of course. Duke lost the ACC tournament final last night. Duke's opponent in the 2-15 matchup will be Cal State Fullerton at 21-10. Again, those 2 games, Michigan State Davidson and Duke and Cal State Fullerton, will play Friday in Greenville, South Carolina. So again, looking over the West region, Gonzaga versus Georgia State in the 1-16. Boise State, Memphis, 8-9. 5 versus 12 is UConn, New Mexico State. 4 versus 13 is Arkansas versus Vermont. That's the top half of the West region. Bottom half, you got number 6 Alabama facing the winner of the play-in game between Rutgers and Notre Dame. That's the 6-11. Texas Tech versus Montana State, 3 versus 14. Michigan State and Davidson, that's your 7-10. And Duke versus Cal State Fullerton, your 2 versus 15 matchup. All right, so they are now analyzing the West region. They are now analyzing the Western region. And they're about to cut to commercial here. So in the next few minutes, they're going to reveal another region. And I'm thinking they're probably going to go to either the East region or the Midwest region. I think they're going to the East region next. But give it a couple minutes. Give it a couple minutes. They will be back as they'll reveal the second region of teams. So what do you think of this Western region? You think Gonzaga will run the table and make it all the way to the Final Four? They have the team to do it, I think. As for a potential upset, it may come in the 6-11 matchup. Rutgers has the defense to hang with Alabama, I think. If Rutgers ends up beating Notre Dame in that play-in game and they get Alabama on Friday, they potentially could pull an upset against the Crimson Tide. That's where I think my one upset is from the West region. So again, we just ran down the West region of the NCAA tournament. Who do you think are the favorites out of this region? Who do you think will be on upset alert next week? Hit me up in the comment section. And this is actually the first time that I've gone live during the tournament selection show. I have never done this before because usually the sports talk I do on my channel is primarily the NFL and a little bit of college football sprinkled in. But it's primarily the NFL. I want to expand that to include, say, the NBA, Major League Baseball, which, by the way, the lockout is finally over after about 99 days. We're finally going to get baseball. And we're going to get a full 162-game season as both the players and the owners have agreed to a 5-year collective bargaining agreement. Okay, they're back. But anyway, I'll finish that thought after we reveal our second region. And we are headed off to the South region, looks like. The top seed here is the Arizona Wildcats. We're headed to the South region, where the Arizona Wildcats of the Pac-12 lock up the number 1 seed. It's their first number 1 seed since 2014. They were 31-3 over the course of the regular season. All right. This game will be played Friday in San Diego. Their opponent is the play-in winner between Wright State and Bryant. And the winner claims the number 16 seed, and they will face the mighty Arizona Wildcats. Okay, the 8 versus 9 matchup, also in San Diego on Friday. We're about to reveal that here shortly. The 8 seed, the Seton Hall Pirates at 1-10. They will face the 9 seed in the South, and that would be anytime, fellas. Anytime, fellas. All right, so it's Seton Hall versus TCU. TCU is the 9 seed. I think they were 22-10. They cut right to Fort Worth and show the team celebrating. They're 20-12. TCU is 20-12. Seton Hall is 21-10. The next 2 games will be played in Pittsburgh. The 5 seed in the South is the Houston Cougars, 29-5. They will face the number 12 seed in the region, and that is The Blazers of Alabama Birmingham or UAB with a record of 27-7. And in the 4 versus 13 matchup, the 4 seed is the Illinois Fighting Illini from the Big Ten at 22-9. Their opponent will be the number 13 seed, the Catamounts of Chattanooga, 27-7. The Mocs of Chattanooga, I should say, at 27-7. And those 2 games, again, will be played Friday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And for the Wildcats, it's not a long trip for them going from Tucson to San Diego. So again, all right, here's the bottom half of the South region. The 6th seed is the Colorado State Rams from the Mountain West Conference. Their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2013. They finished 25-5 in the regular season. And how about that? Their first opponent, the Michigan Wolverines, the 11th seed at 17-14. Of course, Michigan blew that big lead in the Big Ten tournament against, I think it was Indiana. But they were able to survive the bubble and get themselves in. So Colorado State, Michigan, that's your 6-11 matchup. The number 3 seed in the South, the Tennessee Vols of the SEC at 26-7. They will face the 14 seed, whoever that is. They'll reveal this in a second. Longwood, 26-6. The Longwood Lancers. And yeah, they're pretty excited about that. They should be excited. All right, those 2 games will be played Thursday in Indianapolis. Back to Pittsburgh on Friday. 7 versus 10. The 7 seed is the Ohio State Buckeyes at 19-11. Their opponent will be the 10 seed Loyola Chicago, 25-7. That game will be played in Pittsburgh on Friday, as will the 2 versus 15 matchup. The number 2 seed in the South region, the Villanova Wildcats. That's Jay Wright's squad with a 26-7 record. Their opponent will be number 15 seeded Delaware, the Blue Hens, at 22-12. That game, along with Ohio State and Loyola Chicago, will be played Friday in Pittsburgh. So again, a quick rundown of the South region. Top half, Arizona versus the play-in winner between Wright State and Bryant. That game is in San Diego. That's your 1-16 matchup. 8-9 is Seton Hall TCU, also in San Diego. 5-12 is Houston UAB. And 4 versus 13 is Illinois and Chattanooga. Those 2 games are being played Friday in Pittsburgh. And I'm just waiting for CBS. There we go. Down to the bottom half of the bracket. Colorado State, Michigan, that's your 6-11 matchup. And in Tennessee, Longwood, 3 versus 14. Those 2 games are being played Thursday in Indianapolis. And then on Friday in Pittsburgh, you got number 7 Ohio State and number 10 Loyola Chicago, followed by 2nd seeded Villanova and number 15 Delaware. All right, so the West and South regions have been revealed. So we now know about 34 of the 68 teams that got in. All right, now teams like San Francisco and Miami and Wyoming, they're all waiting to see if their names are going to be called. The East region, I think, will be revealed next. All right, so while they're on commercial break, I can go back to tell you that Major League Baseball finally ended its lockout after about 99 days of very intense negotiations. I personally didn't think that baseball would be played this year, but turns out we will have baseball after all. Opening day will be scheduled for April 7th, and we will get the entire 162 game schedule. And I think one of the key points to getting this CBA hammered out is the National League will now use designated hitters. I think this is a long time coming. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for seeing pitchers hit sometimes, but why not adapt the designated hitter in the National League? And that appears to happen here. Another key point in them getting this agreement off the ground is the playoffs. As of right now, 10 teams make playoffs, but in this new CBA, the playoff field would expand to 12. So you go from 10 teams to 12 teams. You go from 10 teams to 12 teams. And younger players, I think, will be able to make more money. I'll have to look into all the terms of this agreement and check back in with you. But yeah, baseball's back. Spring training, I think, begins on Thursday. And then the regular season, which have been scheduled for March 31st, will instead begin April 7th. And every team will play the full 162 games. So yeah, if you're a baseball fan, you've got to be very excited about that. All right, CBS is about to come out of commercial break and reveal another bracket in the tournament. And here we go. So we revealed the West region and the South region. Now I think they're about to reveal the East region bracket. There's the East and the Midwest. Those are the two regions they have yet to do. All right, they're doing the Midwest region. The top seed here is the Kansas Jayhawks. That's Bill Self's team that won its 12th Big 12 tournament championship last night. They were 28-6 and make the NCAA tournament for the 23rd straight year. Their opponent will be the winner of Texas Southern and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. That's another play-in game. The winner gets the 16th seed and will face Kansas on Thursday in Fort Worth, Texas. Also on Thursday in Fort Worth, you got the 8-9 matchup with the 8th-seeded Aztecs of San Diego State, 23-8 during the regular season, facing off with the Creighton Blue Jays, the 9 seed, with a 22-11 record. Again, both games will be played Thursday in Fort Worth. On Thursday in Buffalo, you got the 5-12 matchup. The 5 seed is the Iowa Hawkeyes, the Big Ten tournament champions. They just won that trophy moments ago, taking out Purdue. They were 26-9 over the course of the year. Their opponent will be the Richmond Spiders at 23-12. They're the champions of the A10. That game is played Thursday in Buffalo. Also on Thursday in Buffalo, the 4 versus 13 matchup. The 4 seed in the Midwest is Providence, 25-5. Now, the Friars are all in, baby. Look at that scene out there in Providence. Their opponent will be the 13 seed, and that is South Dakota State with a record of 30-4. All right, so that is the top half of the Midwest region. Let's shift on over to the bottom half of this Midwest region, starting with the 6-11 matchup being played Friday in Milwaukee. The 6-seeded LSU Tigers from the SEC at 22-11. They will face the number 11 seed in the region, which is the Iowa State Cyclones from the Big 12. 20 up, 12 down on the season. Also in Milwaukee, the 3-14 matchup, which pits the 3rd-seeded Wisconsin Badgers, not traveling too far from their Madison campus. 24-7 in the regular season. They'll face the 14-seeded 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, where are you? Who is Wisconsin's opponent? Here it is, Colgate. The Raiders of Colgate. They are from the Patriot League. They finished 23-11. Those 2 games will play in Milwaukee on Friday. The 7 seed in the Midwest, the USC Trojans, 26-7. They will go up against the number 10 seed, the Hurricanes of the University of Miami. I kind of figured the Hurricanes would get in. They were 23-10 over the course of the season. They'll be playing in Greenville, South Carolina, as will the 2-15 matchup, ending the 27-5 and 2nd-seeded Auburn Tigers, who at one point was ranked number 1 in the AP Top 25 poll. 27-5, very solid season there for the Auburn Tigers. Their opponent is 15-seeded Jacksonville State with a record of 21-10. That game, along with USC and Miami, will be played Friday in Greenville, South Carolina. All right, so a quick rundown of the Midwest region. Top-seeded Kansas will play the play-in winner of Texas Southern and Texas A&M Corpus Christi in the 1-16. 8-9 is San Diego Creighton, both games in Fort Worth. 5 versus 12 is Iowa Richmond. 4 versus 13 is Providence and South Dakota State. Those 2 games are being played in Buffalo on Thursday. Bottom half, 6 versus 11 is LSU and Iowa State. 3-14 is Wisconsin Colgate. Those 2 games are played in Milwaukee. And 7-10 USC versus Miami and the 2-seed Auburn facing off with 15-seeded Jacksonville State in Greenville, South Carolina on Friday. So that's the Midwest region. And there is one more region to be had, and that's the East region. And they're going to reveal that in just a second. All right. 7-4. All right. Where's my sports? This phone takes forever to charge. Here it is. All right. I can tell you in the NHL, there is a game in progress right now. The Buffalo Sabres are leading the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2. About 11 and a half minutes left to play in the third period. And we do have one final on the board. The Pittsburgh Penguins beating the Carolina Hurricanes 4-2. Although the Penguins were outshot 43-22 in this game, they were able to win. All right, coming up later, you have the Montreal Canadiens at the Philadelphia Flyers, Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues, Vegas Golden Knights, Columbus Blue Jackets, Nashville Predators, and the Minnesota Wild. Those 4 games will start at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Then at 4:30 Pacific, the Anaheim Ducks and New York Islanders. 5 o'clock is Calgary at Colorado. And 2 late games at 7 o'clock. Florida at LA and Tampa Bay at Vancouver. All right, there is a game underway in the NBA, and that's the Sixers and Magic. They're playing tonight in Orlando. It is tied at 22 at about 3 minutes left in the first quarter. 3 games will start at the top of the hour. Pacers and Hawks from Atlanta. Rockets and Pelicans from New Orleans. Grizzlies and the Thunder from Oklahoma City at 4 o'clock. All right. We're on to our final region here. In the NCAA Tournament Selection Show, and that is going to be the East region. That will be the East region. They're about to reveal that portion of the bracket right now. The number 1 seed in the East region from the Big 12 Conference, the Baylor Bears. And many feel that Baylor is the weakest of the top seeds in this tournament because of all the injuries. All right. Their opponent will be seeded number 16. And that is Norfolk State, the Spartans. That is Norfolk State, the Spartans. I'm recording right now. Norfolk State's 24-6. Yeah, you're gonna wait. All right. The 8th seed will be the North Carolina Tar Heels at 24-9. And they will face the number 9 seed in the East, and that's Marquette at 19-12. Those 2 games will play Thursday in Fort Worth. On Thursday in Portland, you got 5 versus 12 match. The Gales of St. Mary's from the West Coast Conference, 25-7 during the regular season. They will face the number 12 seed, and that's the winner of the play-in game, pitting Wyoming and Indiana. So Wyoming will be playing in one of those first 4 games, and I think they're playing on Tuesday. Yeah, they would play on Tuesday night. So the winner of Wyoming, Indiana gets the 12th seed and will face St. Mary's on Thursday in Portland. Also in Portland will be the 4 versus 13 matchup, which they will reveal here in just a moment. Okay, the number 4 seed in the East region is the UCLA Bruins from the Pac-12, 25-7 record during the regular season. Their opponent will be the 13-seeded Akron Zips from the Mid-American Conference at 24-9. On to the bottom half of the East region, the 6th seed, the Texas Longhorns from the Big 12 at 21-11. Their opponent will be the Virginia Tech Hokies of the ACC 23-12, the 11 seed, and the ACC tournament champions. Of course, beating Coach K and his Blue Devils to claim that tournament title last night. The 3 versus 14 matchup also playing in Milwaukee. The 3 seed is the Purdue Boilermakers. The runners-up in the Big Ten tournament, they were 27-7 over the course of the regular season. Their opponent is the number 14 seed Yale Bulldogs from the Ivy League, 19-11. That game is playing Friday in Milwaukee, as is Texas and Virginia Tech. And then the final 2 games will be played on Thursday in Indianapolis. The 7 seed Murray State at 3-2. Racers had themselves quite the year. Their opponent will be the 10 seed from the East region, and that is will be the 10 seed, the San Francisco Dons. So this would be the 3rd team from the West Coast Conference to make the tournament. San Francisco 10 seed, Murray State 7 seed. That will be Thursday in Naptown. And only one more matchup to be revealed, and that's the 2 versus 15. The number 2 seed in the East, the Kentucky Wildcats, with a record of 26-7. That's actually San Francisco. This is Kentucky Wildcats, John Calipari's team, 26, and it's the 2 seed in the East region. Their opponent will be 15 seeded, and the last team to be named, St. Peter's, 19-11. All right, that game, along with Murray State and the University of San Francisco, will play in Indianapolis on Thursday. So again, a rundown of the East region. 1 versus 16 is Norfolk State. 8-9 is North Carolina Marquette, Thursday in Fort Worth. 5 is St. Mary versus the winner of Wyoming, Indiana. They would get the 12 seed. And then 4 versus 13 is UCLA, Akron. Those 2 games play in Portland. 6 versus 11 is Texas versus Virginia Tech. 3 versus 14, Purdue, Yale. Those 2 games are in Milwaukee. And then 7 versus 10 is Murray State, San Francisco. And 2 versus 15 is Kentucky and St. Peter's. Those 2 games will be played in Indianapolis. So the Big Ten got 9 teams into the tournament. Big East, Big 12 SECs got 6. The ACC got 5. 4 from the Mountain West, 3 from the West Coast in the Pac-12, 2 from the AAC, and 2 from the A-10. All right, the first 4 out, Dayton at 23-10, Oklahoma at 18-15, SMU at 23-8, and Texas A&M at 23-12. They would be considered as the 4 replacements. All right, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, that's the deadline for our first round withdrawal. All right, last 4 teams in were Indiana, Notre Dame, Rutgers, and Wyoming. And again, the first 4 out were Dayton, Oklahoma, SMU, and Texas A&M. Of course, Oklahoma had the highest net rank at number 40 of the first 4 out. Indiana had the highest net rank of the last 4 in at number 39. So yeah, the bubble did burst for a couple of Big 12 schools in Oklahoma and Texas A&M. More unfortunately for Texas A&M, as they made it all the way to the Big 12 tournament final. But yeah, it looks like they'll be headed to the NIT in all likelihood. So we're gonna end it right here, folks. What matchups are you what matchups are you excited to see? Who's going to run the table, win the national championship? Who's going to be put on upset watch? Shoot me a comment. I'll respond to it. Anyway, this is Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the madness, folks. Peace out.